we could also do an episode on fashion.
That would be interesting. That would be really interesting. Is lingerie considered fashion?
Welcome to Unqualified Opinion, the fashion podcast for everyone trying to get out of their mom's basement. How's it going, Scott?
That will make sense momentarily. My insurance through work gives me even more of a discount than I'm already discounted if I do this health assessment every year on my just on the computer. It takes 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And then the doctor asked me this as well. It's, how many drinks do you have in a week? And I always say about 3 to 4 probably in a week.
That's not true. If we do the podcast.
I only drink this night.
Oh, really?
I don't drink the other nights. And it comes back and says, great, everything else, you should consider drinking only 1 to 2 drinks per week. Because that is the recommended.
Yeah, my number of drinks per week is like 20. Like, if I'm being realistic, even at this podcast, I don't think you're drinking 3 to 4 drinks.
3 to 4 drinks is a bottle of wine, isn't it? Or is it?
No. A bottle of wine is like 6 or 7, I think, isn't it?
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I have 4. I don't always finish the bottle. But when I do, I start another one usually.
Yeah. When I do, it was only 3/4 full, so I need to top it off.
I know. And now it's gone. That's the problem. The more you drink, the quicker it goes, right? Because the first 1 or 2, I was sipping on my first glass of wine for 2 hours, and it was like a half of a glass. I was just sipping on it while I was making dinner. Mm-hmm. Right? But then it's exponential.
Yes.
You're drunk. Anyway. You know what? I do actually drink I drink by myself. I will have a glass of wine.
Oh, that
if I'm making
count.
Dinner.
I'm just saying, but it's not like you'd have 4 to 6 drinks by yourself.
Unless it was a really bad day, which I haven't had in a long
time.
Yeah,
but not consistently. You're not like there are 2 days a week in which I will drink 6 drinks by myself.
That's bad.
I used to do that when I first moved to DC and I was depressed. So I don't do that anymore.
Now you have friends.
Now I drink more, but with people. So.
I don't know. If you did a cost-benefit analysis, I don't know which one's worse, depression or excessive alcohol on your health. Probably, I don't know. Maybe depression. I don't know though.
You know what the best cure for depression is?
Alcohol?
No, definitely not. Exercise. Trust me, I'm a doctor.
Well, I bought a car. Which is of a variety Steve really doesn't like. He thinks it's really ugly. It's a Kia Soul. For those of you who don't know this car, you will know it if you see it. It is iconic. It is iconic in a way.
Not in a good way.
So it's of the same vein as the Scion, whatever that boxy Scion car was, and like a Honda Element. Oh, it's smaller than a Honda Element. Yeah,
think if some engineers were having this question of how can we make a car as aerodynamic as possible, and they went in the exact opposite direction.
Well, yes, that's true. But now the aerodynamics of a car aren't as important as for an airplane, because a car is not traveling very fast relative to an airplane, and it's also not trying to fly.
Yes, 2 important things.
Science explained by Scott.
Unqualified Science. It's a spin-off series, actually.
A car is not designed to fly.
Revelation number 1.
I'm an engineer. But so the car is going, and this is a very small car. You have 2 you can make it very aerodynamic. You're going to cut down on drag. You're going to make it go faster with less gas, increase gas mileage. Now, if it's already a small car with a small engine, you have diminishing returns really quick, other than it looks prettier when it's more aerodynamic. You go the other way and say, well, we can make this a car as a conveyance. It is to transport things and people. And if we were to make a small, cheap car designed to move people and things, this is it. And on top of it, there actually is some design elements that make it less than hideous, and the inside is actually nicely appointed. Like, for a car for which I'm paying $270 a month for, it is a quite nice interior. It is nicer than comparable cars in the same price range. I'll say that.
Okay, so how much is this car?
I bought it for a grand total of $17,000, which is about half of
new.
Which is like,
what is it normally? This is a 2019?
2020.
It's a 2020
Kia Soul.
Is that what that is?
Yep. I love it.
Wait, $17,000. Why did you get a new car?
Because there's a design. They did a redesign in 2020 that is actually a big improvement over the old one. So, and there's no used 20. And I really wanted this car. There's no used 2020s because it just came out like 6 months ago.
Of course, yeah.
Right?
But isn't it way more expensive that way?
Not really. Because the car, the depreciation really occurs in those shitty American... Sorry anyone who drives an American car. Those shitty American cars that are expensive for what you get. Like a big Chevy sedan that's $30,000. That's not very good. Like, you buy that quickly depreciates. This one is Korean. These little Korean cars, well made. They last forever. They have a 10-year warranty, which is double the average warranty of an American car. And they don't depreciate as quickly. So, if I wanted even within like the previous design year, I could go back to 2015. It maybe saved me $5,000. But I'm like, I'm also buying a car that's 5 years of wear and tear on it, 5 years of mileage on it, 5 years of someone else doing God knows what in it, and it's so much easier to buy a new car too. Financing is easier. Everything is just easier associated with it.
And so you're not leasing it.
No, I loan.
You bought it, and you got a loan, and your loan comes out to $270.
$270 a month. Yep.
$270 a month.
Yeah.
Which is not bad.
That's not bad at all. It's not bad at all.
And for how long?
5 years.
5 years at $270 a month.
Guess the interest rate, because my credit score is really good, 2.25% interest rate.
Basically inflation.
Basically, it's like a free money.
Yep, free money.
It's really cheap.
So I won't say that I'm really glad that you got a car. Living in Minneapolis, you need a car, and I can't believe you've gone this long without one. So congratulations on that. As far as the style of this car goes,
it's not bad. It's not bad. It's not bad.
You're starting to hit all of the points of a Midwestern dad without the child. That's what you're really epitomizing right now.
I want to be that. No, I don't. But Steve, no, I'm epitomizing. I thought, okay, I told you last time, maybe I'll get a sedan, a coupe, a normal car. I kid you not, you go and I'm like, I have these things I want. I want a nice interior. I want cargo space. I want good gas mileage. I want something that's really reliable. I want something that has back seats that my parents can fit into for like a drive to Duluth or something when they come out and visit. I want something where I can throw camping shit inside. I want something where I can put a roof rack on in case I need to travel somewhere. When you add all that together, in my price range, the sedan doesn't do it. Like the sedans with larger back seats and all of that are quite expensive.
That's why I've always been torn with sedans in general, right? Because they just look so much cooler, but a hatchback is way more convenient.
It is.
In almost every dimension. The only thing you don't have is the superficial looks.
Mm-hmm. So like this is definitely like a less attractive hatchback than it's kind of like it's really interesting. It's like sometimes it's lumped into a hatchback category, sometimes it's lumped into a crossover SUV category.
I don't know. It really looks like a sedan had sex with a Jeep.
And that's high ground clearance too, which is also nice. So in Minnesota you can jump over that. hills of snow that mound at the intersections.
I actually prefer when the car is lower to the ground. It feels easier to drive.
I like that. My first car driving was that Ford Explorer, so I'm used to kind of the upright, high driving position. And I'm taller than you are. It's harder to get into those low-slung cars for me, especially for someone who's uncoordinated. I bang my arms and legs and everything. I look like it.
Can't figure out where the extremities go. Well, how does it feel having a car?
I am not sad that I waited this long. I think I learned a lot. I understood what's a priority and how to prioritize my time, get around, etc. And I saved a shit ton of money by not owning a car. But a big but. Today I went shopping. I went to IKEA. I did returns. I went to Target. I went to the gym. I came back, and it was only like 2:00. And I'm like, wow. I did all that, and it's not dark out yet. And I'm not freezing my butt off, and I'm not schlepping bags of shit and dropping stuff everywhere. It is so much more. And the convenience factor is, and time saving. Time saving is huge. So regardless of the type of the car, I'm so happy I have. I have no regrets, 0 regrets. And I can totally afford it, which is also nice. It's $270. I mean, I don't even barely notice that. So, yeah, I'm very happy with it.
Rich bastard.
Well, it actually coincides with a loan I was paying off that was $300 a month. So the loan is paid off now, and now I have the car loan of $270.
Was that a house loan, like house repairs or something?
It was a home improvement loan. Yeah.
Nice.
One last thing in my week, I got, 2 other things. I chaired the board. The board I'm on, I think I did a good job, but also tension, which is good. A board should have tension, but now I have to control this tension. And I'm sitting next
I don't know if you ever explained that in the podcast.
I'm the chair of the board of a nonprofit that generates $6 million a year in revenue, which for a nonprofit is quite large. So that's, it's a big, big, big learning experience. Other chairs of the board include investment banker, VP at Wells Fargo, a retired multimillionaire businessman who's 60 or 50, executive at 3M,
and then a 28-year-old who works a government job in the county.
And I love it. They can listen to me. Yeah, it's actually really fun. I learn a lot from everybody else. I mean, they know so much more than I do. It is such an amazing learning experience. I have grown so much in understanding how executive leadership works, and I'm bad at it, but I'm learning that it's really you always have to be thinking, reading the room, and the tact you have to use, and I love it. I absolutely love it. So did that, and then at my work, I was told that by the guy who runs the organization I'm at, that he's working on getting me a promotion. So, and that I need to be patient, and it's government. It takes a long time, and he's very sorry. And I want to keep you, and we're working on it. Don't worry, we're working on it. So
don't worry, it's only going to take them 2.5 years to figure it out. But a lot of promises that they're working on it.
It's the first time he told me directly, though. He saw me as we're working on it. He's good to his word. So yeah, and I was like, okay. He said that's happening then. It's probably happening by the January. So just lots of shit this week. Lots of things. It's a very busy week. Yeah. And I'm exhausted. So how are you?
I'm pretty good. I've been drinking a lot this week, so I'm exhausted too, but for all the wrong reasons. Let's see. Oh, a high school friend reached out to me.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago, and we went for drinks yesterday.
Yeah.
And I was really nervous. I didn't even think I would recognize him in the bar, and I wasn't sure what we're going to talk about, and he was totally normal and was super easy to catch up, and we're going to try to hang out some more, so it was great.
Is he in DC now?
He is,
Or
yeah.
just
He's
visit?
been here forever. Like, he went to Virginia Tech and then he's been in the area.
No, so he's been here longer than you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Cool.
like further out in Virginia suburbs, but he's close enough to DC that we can hang out. And he's super into UFC now. So we went to this bar that was showing a UFC game, which I thought was
Is that
weird.
football?
That's fighting.
Fighting.
Yeah, it's like martial arts, mixed martial arts. I thought he was a weirdo for bringing it up, and I was like, why would you want to just go to a sports bar? Apparently, uh, the way UFC works is this pay-per-view that's really expensive to get, and so most people don't actually buy it unless they're with a whole group of people to see a certain match. They would go to bars or something like that. So that, and it was like a big, like there were several title matches, and so when we were there, when we started, the place was pretty empty. By the time I left, there were just swarms of people all over, no sitting space or anything.
Is this the one where it's a fake fight?
No,
No,
it's
that's
real
WWE.
fighting. That's
It's real
WWE.
fighting.
Yeah, no. UFC is real fighting. It's MMA, which is mixed martial arts,
Do
which
they wear
means that
silly clothes? No, that's
no, no,
WWE
they
too.
do not. No, this is like all serious stuff.
All very serious. Okay.
Um, and people come in with a variety of different styles of fighting, and they compete against each other. And depending on certain people have certain strengths and weaknesses, and depending on who they get matched up against, like there's certain probabilities of
It's like a
winning.
Pokemon game.
Yeah, yeah, it's like Pokemon, except you don't own the players. Yeah,
But you could.
but you could. Gotta catch them all. 21st century slavery. So we had a holiday party this week, and we went to this place called Momofuku, and it was so fancy. We walk in there, and they have those people walking around with those trays with like 6 things on it, so they get across like a quarter of the room, and then everything's gone.
Yeah.
It's like little samples and stuff. There's no story here. I'm just saying it was really really fancy.
Mama Fuku. That's Mama Fuck You.
Momofuku. It's like a
Yeah.
it's an
I
Asian
picked that on
fusion
purpose.
place. No.
Momofuku. Momo. No, yeah, right. Momofuku. Fuku. Yeah, right. Bullshit, I picked that name on purpose.
It is my girlfriend's birthday coming up. Her birthday's next week.
Yeah.
And she had said that she doesn't want any presents. And I told her I would get a reservation at a restaurant she likes. And she was like, "Oh, that's really nice. Yes, let's do that." And then she went ahead and made the reservation herself. So now it's like, that's fucking great. Now I have nothing to actually give you. So, what are your thoughts, Scott, when a girl says, "I don't want anything for my birthday"? And mind you, we've been dating less than a year. Like, should you get something?
Yeah. Nothing too significant because you don't want to come off as. I'm sure she'd be very happy if you came off as very serious, but I don't think you want to come off as extremely serious.
Well, tell me what you think of what I did get.
Oh, you got something.
I did. I just bought it today, and it was super expensive. It was stupid expensive. But I'll explain
It
in a
depends.
second.
That doesn't
So
really matter. It depends on what it is. It depends what
she
it is.
said that she doesn't want anything for her birthday, right? I didn't get her an object.
Oh.
What I did was I looked at the calendar and I realized in January there is a federal holiday, Martin Luther King Jr. Day. It's on the 20th, right? Which means it's an extended weekend. So I went and bought 2-day lift passes for a ski resort in the area and a hotel.
That's nice.
So that we can go on a ski trip together.
I think that's really nice.
Ended up costing $700, which is like way more than I expected to pay. But the ski tickets were each like a little over $200, which is totally understandable if you're doing a lift 2 days and rental, right?
Yeah, that doesn't. That's.
And you're not gonna just go for one day. That's stupid.
Well, it depends how
right?
close it is.
But then I wanted to also get 2 nights so that we could drive out.
You have a whole day. Yeah, you want a whole day.
Yeah, we want so that we can have 2 days skiing and then drive out the next morning, right? And then it was either I go to a Holiday Inn.
No, that's not
like
no.
garbage.
No.
Or I go to this fancy. What did they call it? It's like an actual inn. It's like this big house that was renovated, and it's got all this history to it and everything. And they have only 24 rooms, and it's this big mansion. And that was only like 50 or 60 more bucks a night, so I ended up getting that instead.
Romantic. That's really nice. How much do you like her to spend $700 on her?
I really like skiing.
I understand why you got that. It's a present for you. A little bit.
Wrapped up to look like a present for her. It's amazing.
It's your Christmas present to yourself. Because you would feel too sad going alone.
Obviously, I wouldn't go alone.
I know you wouldn't. You are not the type to go alone.
Yeah. No, the ski tickets are for me. The inn is for her.
Well, really, yeah, and you know, if you wouldn't go alone, and so really, it's not that much more expensive because you would have to book the hotel anyway, right? If you went alone, so it's only 2 additional nights stays of the ski passes, which is only $200, and
exactly.
Yeah.
Now I have someone there with me, which is way more fun. So
she's not going to see it like that, though, Steve. She's going to see that you dropped. She's not going to know the price, but she's going to know it's very expensive.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna look like an incredibly good boyfriend.
You're going to look really serious. If you need sex tips, I can give you some suggestions on what to ask her to do, or have done to her, as it were.
Finger up the butt. Is that what you were gonna say,
Steve?
What?
That's child's play.
That's child's play? Yeah. Still haven't done that, so.
You are so. I can't even. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, boring. Just.
I'm not gonna ask her to do that. That's weird.
She like. Oh, yeah. We could, different conversation. We have to
different conversation.
That's the in-person conversation.
This part's getting.
Oh, are you? Oh, I don't get it with straight men. They're like anything to do with anal, they're so uncomfortable with.
No, I'm not particularly uncomfortable. I'm just unexperienced.
I don't. It makes very little sense. I mean, it does actually make a supreme sense to me, but it is so illogical. It is so illogical to me, but I understand. It is so illogical. It feels better for guys than it does for women.
Wait, what?
You have a prostate, you idiot.
Wait, how does that work? Okay, explain the biology here. I don't understand.
I'll talk about most things. Talking about this makes me uncomfortable.
It does?
Okay, so if your prostate is there, right, and your anus is there, when you put anything up it and it hits the back of the prostate, it feels very good, and you can actually orgasm from anal sex. It's also a much better orgasm. Actually, quite a bit better.
So that's why straight guys will have women put on strap-ons.
It feels really good. Yeah.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
If a guy is into having a girl put on a strap-on and fuck him from behind, would you consider that person leaning towards having homosexual tendencies?
No. They're completely separate. You can like having someone fuck you and not like having a girl do that and not like guys. They're not associated with each other. They are in culture, but they're not. There are straight men, and I truly believe they are straight on Grindr because they can't find women to do this. Because it is not very uncommon. I don't know how common it is. It's less common than you might think. I also think a lot of women would be interested in trying it if the idea was put to them, but no guy ever would do that. I think that's the woman who usually brings it up. And the guy's like, okay, we can try that.
Yeah.
I think it usually goes that direction.
Interesting. Give me a lot to ponder on.
You think about that, Steve, and we'll check in 6 months.
Let's move on to drinks. What are you drinking?
I am having... well, I also went to the liquor store today with my new car, and I bought a bunch of wine. I'm drinking a Merlot. I really like the design of this bottle. That's really all I have to say about it. I'm going to show it to you. It's just very simple.
Alias?
And I like the label on the back. They did a good job giving the facts in a nice font.
Yeah, so for the audience who can't see what Scott is putting up to the camera,
It's a bottle of wine.
The tag, the label just says Alias in really clean font, and then it has Merlot and the year. So it's like really super simple, really minimalist and clean.
It's really nice. I like it. It's wine. It's Merlot. It's good.
All right, so I'm drinking a DC Brow beer called Joint Resolution. It's a hazy IPA. Look at that. DC Brow Joint Resolution.
Are all their beers named after some
politically inspired thing? I
some like
don't
congressional
know.
mechanism to pass bills?
No, they aren't, because they also have Corruption IPA.
Okay.
But they're all related.
They're
like
all politically related.
Right? On the back says Joint Resolution, hazy and juicy, and hazy and juicy. What? Let me just restart this. What the fuck? Okay, so this is what it says. Joint Resolution. Hazy and juicy, and 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 hazy and juicy. Just like our government. What? Anyway, I like it. I think it's a good IPA. I like hazy IPAs. It's not nearly as bitter. It's a lot of, as their Corruption IPA, for instance. It's a lot more drinkable.
A joint resolution is a legislative measure that requires passage by both houses and is presented to the president for approval or disapproval. Generally, there is no legal difference between a joint resolution and a bill. Interesting. I don't know still what that has to do with how it says that 4 times, but
I don't either. I know that this is some kind of seasonal or experimental beer that they've put out recently. So maybe it's just a nod to the partisanship of our government.
I hate the movie. Change topic. I don't want to talk this. I get so mad.
Yeah, we're not going to get into government shit.
We can never have a
all.
podcast about that. It's so
no, it's too infuriating.
Dark
we're
and
fucking
infuriating.
Yeah, no, it's just like, yeah. No, I
scary
completely
times.
agree. Scary times. Let's not get into it.
it.
Topic today we are highly qualified for is fashion. As you can see, I'm
he's in a
showcasing the epitome of fashion.
A gray hoodie.
I'm in a gray hoodie and sweatpants.
I'm in my gym shirt, my gym's branded shirt.
Talk about fashion.
It actually fits really well. It does. It's longer. I like longer. It's a nice longer T-shirt, but the chest fits really nicely. It is becoming of my.
Oh, I guess since we are talking about
physique.
fashion, you just organically brought it up. What are your thoughts on the new kind of longer shirts, like longer, skinnier shirts? So my company recently gave out new swag, and one of the things that we received were new shirts. And these new shirts are a lot skinnier and a lot longer, and I think it's just more of a new style that's happening.
Like tighter?
Yeah.
I bet you like that. Steve does not need tighter shirts. I shouldn't speak because my shirts are fairly tight too. But
I stopped wearing the overly tight shirts that I have. Most of my shirts are pretty loose.
Yeah, they're loose by your definition, maybe tight by.
You were the one who told me to wear tighter shirts, and so I started wearing tighter shirts.
It does look good. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I'm just saying you wear tight shirts, just based on my suggestion.
Yeah, because of you.
But you have a girlfriend now because of me. If you wore those baggy shirts, you would never. She's only dating you for your torso.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I'm joking. You have a wonderful personality. And I'm sure a nice lower half as well.
Thanks for using my personality as an afterthought. I feel like an object. Yeah. I feel objectified.
Speaking of, fashion is related to objectification, is it not?
It is.
But about men, we want about women. It's which is more on the objectification side, I think, to men's viewing pleasure. and each other their own viewing pleasure. But men's fashion. I really have nothing to say on this topic.
Yeah, you do.
Uh,
The obvious place to start is, what do you wear?
I wear when I am. I have such a to no fashion. So my parents bought me last winter these running pants. Well, actually, they didn't know what they were. They're actually technically ski pants, but they don't know what the fuck they're buying. So, because I looked up the brand, it's a ski apparel brand, but they're awesome running pants. They are nylon or some sort of synthetic material. They're tighter fitting, not skin tight, but tighter fitting. They're tapered, which I really like. So it's like, elastic around the ankles. They're so comfortable, and they look good because I'm working on my butt. I have a nicer butt than I used to, and it looks good. They look good. They look good. They're very comfortable. They're quick to put on. They're warm in the morning because I hate putting jeans on in the morning because they're always so cold. And so whenever I'm not at work, I either have these on or a pair of sweatpants on. If it's the summer, I have a pair of...
Even when you're out?
Yeah, I'll wear these. I mean, if I'm going out, I'll wear jeans. But if I'm going... Like today, I wore these because I went to the store to return shit and go to the liquor store and go to the gym. I mean, like, they're all purpose. You can do anything with them. Work jeans on some days. Nice jeans. Dark wash, tighter fit. And then weekends I also wear jeans, but sometimes my crappy jeans, like a lighter wash, or maybe they're a little worn or whatever, because I don't really care what I look like, generally speaking. They're tighter. I do care what I look like. They're tighter. They fit well, right? They're not really baggy. They don't have massive holes in them. Top, t-shirts around the house, a jacket. I love this. I have this blue Arc'teryx jacket that I love. As Steve can attest, I wear it everywhere. I love it so much. It's so I want 3 more of them. I am an old, middle-aged man, aren't I?
As your Kia Soul can attest.
I want an Arc'teryx jacket in each of its colors. Blue, gray, black, brown. Green is a little bright for me. That's getting a little out there. And then at work, I wear a button down. I usually get my shirts tailored. If they're baggier, I'll get them tailored. So there's a slim fit. That's all. And that's really it. That's my that's the extent of my fashion. Steve?
Well, yeah, no, I can say my thing. So I work at a startup, and I don't really have a dress code, so I will wear t-shirts to work. And so I don't really have a lot of button-downs or anything fancy like that. I was at this holiday party recently, and I needed to look for appropriate attire. So I went into my closet, and I had to move 2 suitcases aside to dig out a 3rd suitcase, which had all my buttons down in it, and grab a couple out of there.
Oh, that's
and
funny.
Look around.
That's funny.
And then throw them in the wash because they have that gross suitcase smell when you've thrown them in for too long. And then I pulled out the iron. I was like, how the fuck does this thing work? and then when I was walking around the office that day, it was just so uncomfortable. I kept on just thinking, why does this thing have to be tucked in? And what is this gross ass belt that I'm wearing? So very uncomfortable.
Tell me about your elastic pants.
Yes, I'm getting to that. That's super exciting. So
why you don't need a belt?
What I wear is basically the most comfortable clothes I can while pulling off looking respectable outside or getting close to it, right? So starting with the pants. I wear these pants from Uniqlo, which are basically jeggings for men. So they are stretchy pants that are called easy pants. They're like $40. And when you go to Uniqlo, the great thing about Uniqlo is you can get them to, is it called hemming? Or tailoring? Yeah, I don't know. Hem it for you for free. And so I have 3 pairs of these easy pants in different colors. Like one of them is a blue, one of them is a beige, one of them is a black. And then 2 more that I just had to pick up from another Uniqlo that I recently bought. And I will just cycle between these pants. I'll wear them to work, and they're just like very comfortable and stretchy, and they don't look too
They're
far off from jeans.
not bad. They're chinos. They're more chinos than jeans. They're not jeans. They're chinos.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and they're so comfortable. I tried on a pair of jeans recently and was like, I would never go back to this. This is so incredibly
You have to say
uncomfortable.
a dark washed pair of jeans dresses up a lot better than what you wear.
Oh yeah, for sure. Again, going back to my point of being as comfortable as possible while still hitting the minimum threshold of
I haven't seen you wear jeans for a long time.
exactly. Yeah, I don't wear them anymore. I don't. I wear EC pants everywhere. And then my other clothes. So, a few years ago, I threw out all my socks and I replaced them with all the same long black socks. I mean, I have a few pairs of like shorter black socks that I did the same thing with, but they're all the same one. So I have like 50 to 60 pairs of the same black socks. I just wear only those. And the great thing about it, you don't ever have to worry about matching. So you end up with all the same socks. You don't have to worry about matching. And if one of them has a hole in it, you just throw it away and it doesn't really become a problem. And then 5 years later, you buy more of the same socks and you're great. So that's what I do for socks.
What happens when they come up with a new model of the sock? You have to throw all of them away and start again.
I know, I will. I
It's gonna
am
be a
actually
sad
worried
day.
about that. Yeah, they add like some dumbass logo to it.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I have to buy 50 more socks.
Amazon. I want the old version of this sock.
Yeah, I pay like $100 per sock because they don't make them anymore. It's like I need the consistency. Let's see. So, and then for shirts and things, it's just like a random assortment. When I work out, I bought. I went to Under Armour and they had this nice shirt. You know the Under Armour shirts that like quick dry and everything like that.
Yeah.
I bought like 4 or 5 of those of the same Under Armour, and I think I'm gonna go back and do the same thing. So I'm really into just finding something I like and then just buying a bunch of them. So the same pants in different colors, 5 of them. The same socks, 50 of them. The same underwear, again, like 20 of them. Workout shirts, same thing. Just like find something, if I
That's
like
why it always looks like you're wearing
repeat.
the same underwear. Because they are.
They're the same underwear all the time. Not gonna dig into why you've seen me in my underwear.
I see you, and you're always walking around in your underwear.
It's my house. What do you
What am I
expect me to
supposed
do?
to walk out, or waking up, and only look up like this?
Yeah, my face is up here. My face is up here. Anyway, yeah, so my goal has always been just kind of like be as acceptable as possible, while maximizing comfort, and then just find something you like and buy a bunch of it. I used to buy a lot shittier quality stuff, and what I realized is that there is a certain threshold that you want to hit in terms of how nice your clothes is. So I found that with a lot of shirts, especially after you wash them and then dry them, they kind of fit poorly if you buy shirts that are all like $4 or $5.
Oh yeah.
Right. But then if you step that up to like $15 to $20, ideally $25 shirts, then they don't really ever go bad. Especially like 20 to $25 range shirts, and you've now got material that's going to last a lot longer. It's going to fit a lot better. It's going to be more comfortable, and then over time, you're not going to have to continue to replace them. So you might actually even out on the money side too. And so that's been kind of a more recent realization since I got a real job like 3 years ago, and I have the disposable income to like upfront say like I'm gonna buy 4 shirts at $25, and that's $100, but it's gonna be worth it because it's gonna last me years. So I want to go into like tips for men who have no idea about fashion. And to start it off, I think the first one, because you've already brought it up, and this is something that I've shifted on, is that shirts should be tighter than you think they should be. Not too tight, but a lot of guys are willing to wear shirts that are too baggy and too long, including myself, until Scott called me out on it.
If you do not have a belly, American cuts are designed for people with beer bellies. So if you don't have one, you'll notice like the back of the shirt, it looks like you're wearing a tent. Like it looks like you're like the Hunchback of Notre Dame. You can like poof it out, right? It like sticks out along, and that's because most shirts are for someone who has like that poof is actually in the front because it needs to cover their stomach. I'm not kidding. That's how they're cut.
Yeah.
Like, that's how they're cut. So you have to be careful. Yeah, it's but it depends on the brand. I would say the brand is more. It's more with the brand than the size. Like I wear a medium in some shirts and a small in others. It's this, and the brands I wear a medium in, I like those the best because they fit my chest, but then they're slimmer around my waist.
Yeah, and then they have like slim cuts
Yeah.
instead of regular cuts, and it's usually, again, it's kind of assuming you're reasonably fit enough. It's usually better to go for the slimmer cut. The other thing I think that's important is that your shirt when you pull it down shouldn't go lower than your crotch, right? Because that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like some people think that style's fine. It looks sloppy. Like just get over it. It's not cool. Like just stop. The other thing is you can check. I know this is super basic stuff, but if you have your shirt on and you know how you have this stitch that connects the arm portion to your shoulder, that should be resting right at the edge of your shoulder. If it's leaning down beyond your shoulder, then that shirt is too big for you. And so the sleeves are going way too far down.
If you are a hard person to buy clothes for, which is myself, I have long arms, long legs, especially dress shirts, it pays to go to a tailor. If you buy a good quality and go to a tailor and they fit it, and you will never, once you wear a tailored shirt, you'll never go back. It is, I mean,
I've never gotten a tailored
what's
shirt.
A dress shirt? You aren't going to get a t-shirt tailored. It's like a button-down shirt, right? A nice button-down shirt, not like a untucked button-down shirt, but one that you tuck in.
I wear one once a year.
Once a year. You probably don't need to go to a tailor, but it's like $25-$30 to get it tailored, maybe more, maybe $40, $50.
How much do you buy the shirt for usually? If you're gonna tailor a shirt,
a nice shirt, $60 or $70 for a dress shirt, $70, $80.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you get a tailor on top of that, so it's like $100 overall.
But it lasts it lasts forever. I mean, it will last forever until you either gain or lose weight. And then that is the problem I'm in right now, where I got them tailored. I got them, tailored fairly slim, but I'm gaining mass now in my chest and shoulders, and it still fits. It's just like, this is quite tight. It looks good. I mean, it looks fine. It's just like, you can feel it. You're like, okay, another 2 years, this is the nice thing with the tailor is you can go back. If it's a good tailor, they'll leave extra. So you actually go back and they can let it out for you.
Really?
So you don't have to buy a new shirt. Same with pants.
Even with the arms?
Yes.
In places?
They'll can't, not a lot, but they'll keep some of the length and kind of, I don't know what the fuck they do with it, but they hide it somehow. And so they can let it out to an extent, maybe half an inch, right? But as long as half an inch is all you need.
Yeah.
Same with pants. Like if you get pants hemmed really well, you can, if you grow or shrink, not that you really would, or especially if you get your hips get bigger or smaller, if it's a good tailor, they should be able to let them in and out, and save that fabric. But again, you have to go to a good tailor to have them do that. But if it's good, they'll do it automatically. It's just it's the correct way to do it. So that's kind of interesting tip if you need to buy more dressy clothes. Now you never do that for like the stuff you get from under $50. You wouldn't really bother hemming, kind of off the shelf stuff.
Do you have any tips for pants?
It should taper. In my honest opinion, the thighs should be slightly baggy. Well, one, it should generally form fit your legs, not tight, or tight. It doesn't really matter, all the way to your ankles. Mm-hmm. If you're a tall person like me, skinnier, tight jeans don't always, skinny fit jeans just make you look really skinny, especially if like muscle on the top. It makes you look kind of top heavy. If you're shorter, skinny fit jeans look a lot better. It's just it doesn't look as good. I mean, like skin tight skinny jeans, which I don't wear. I wear fairly skinny jeans, but not skin tight. They should also be baggy-er. Not baggy, but looser around the thighs, then tighter as they go down, which is also hard. Like, because it looks really weird if they're extremely tight around your thighs, and then like down lower it's baggy.
Yeah, like a weird 70s style.
Yeah. That's also very weird.
The other thing I would say with length, I think some people just don't really pay attention to length, but if you're in those pants and you're standing without shoes, they should kind of brush right next to the heel. And then when you put shoes on, it should kind of look natural. When you sit down, especially for more formal pants, your pants should actually come up and your socks would actually be exposed. Yes. And if they don't do that, then your pants are too long.
Yeah. And that's why socks are important if you're dressing up. And I have I am known for my colorful socks. And my thing at work, I don't do a lot of fun things with my fashion, but I love picking out socks that are clashing. So like everything will match, and then I'll pick socks that just like don't go with anything. And it's quite a statement.
As a guy in formal wear, there are two ways to make a statement, right? There's socks like what Scott does, which I think is the subtler one and the more classy way to do it. The other one is a tie, right?
Yeah.
Like,
but ties are stupid. You have to wear socks. You don't have to wear a tie.
But we're gonna get to like the comparison with women's fashion later. But isn't it just so unfortunate that as a guy, you are so limited in the available creativity of what you can wear, especially when it comes to formal
I do want
wear?
to talk about two other things. I think men have a lot of leeway with.
In formal wear?
In anything. Two big things that they can make a statement and it can work. Shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Shoes are those areas where I could wear like I could wear a sweater, I could wear jeans, but then if I was this type of person, I could pick out a pair of like $300 Air Jordans and wear those with something I could wear like, Docker, like loafers with. But you put Air Jordans on it that are, hot, like bright yellow, that works. Because it's like shoes it clashes, but shoes can be a big statement piece for men and women. But I think more so men because they don't have a lot of variation in other places. And even dress shoes. You can get there's three types of dress shoes with men. There's the really shitty ones that have box toes and just look and have thick soles and just look like you should be wearing white tube socks when you are wearing them. And then there's the type that is nice, but it's very boring. It's very typical. You can also have the, Italian fashion shoes with a point that you could, spear someone with a buckle, with, shiny, interesting colored leather. And that, again, you could some of those things you could do with anything. It's a real statement with the shoes. For example, I'm going to use myself as an example. I'm saving up for a pair of Red Wings, which is this. It's made in Minnesota. It's these work boots, they used to be work boots. Now they make, boots that you don't have to wear even if you're not working on like the train. Made out of beautiful leather. They're gorgeous boots. They're really kind of heavier and chunky, great for Minnesota, but you could wear them with nice clothes. And people know those are Red Wings. You paid $400 for those shoes.
They're $400. You're gonna pay for $400 shoes?
They have a lifetime warranty. Ooh. You can take them back anytime, and they will fix them for you.
Oh yeah, that's pretty nice.
They're really beautiful. They are a statement piece.
So I'm gonna mention my shoes.
Yeah, mention your shoes. I want to hear about yours.
All of my shoes are minimalist style shoes. So what does that mean? That means that they are shoes that have lighter soles and there's no elevation in the heel, and there's a wider toe box. And so the goal with minimalist shoes, right, and they come in all shapes and sizes, but is that they reduce as much as possible while still being shoes the amount of structure and form that is kind of placed on your feet when you wear a typical shoe.
Remember, Steve, this is a fashion podcast, not an orthopedic podcast.
It is, but I gotta express my own lack of fashion here.
Go on.
And so the kind of background with minimalist shoes is that the kind of constraining and over enforcement of our feet that happens with a lot of shoes actually detracts from the ability of our feet to develop the kind of natural set of muscles that they need to be able to be strong and support us. And so with minimalist shoes, you're kind of reducing a lot of that support, and you're also improving the comfort that you have, especially because you have really, really flexible shoes with wide toe boxes, which means your feet can kind of like sit in the shoe in a much more comfortable way. And so what I've done is I've replaced all my regular shoes with minimalist shoes. Some of them are pretty ugly, as Scott can attest to. But I've been trying to get better with finding ones that have better style. Most of mine come from Vivo. The full name of the company is Vivo Barefoot, and the shoes range between like $100 and $200, roughly. It works because I don't go to a lot of formal events, and I don't have to wear any kind of formal wear. When I went to the holiday party last week, I did end up digging in my closet to find a pair of actual loafers to wear.
Good. They are probably terribly out of fashion, but I'm glad you did that, Steve.
They are, but they are probably the most comfortable formal shoes I could have. Because even before I was wearing minimalist shoes, I was always searching for the comfortable shoes. So when I go to the gym, I have this pair of shoes called furoshikis or furoshiki, and it's a wrapping shoe. So you should look this up. It's furoshiki.
I know what they look like. You've showed them to me.
Oh, I have shown them to you. Okay, great. And they're basically slippers with these two big tongues that you wrap on either side. And surprisingly, I wear them at the gym, and honestly, I look ridiculous. And I've gotten several compliments from people about my shoes.
Steve, talk about really quickly gym fashion.
Gym fashion.
For men. Let's get to women later. For men.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting. From my own experience, I have not done a good job of trying to be fashionable at the gym. I just kind of wear whatever I have. I have several pairs of athletic pants which are overly baggy and not stylish at all. And I've had them for years, and they're kind of gross. And then I wear, if I'm not wearing nice Under Armour shirts because I've run out of them and I haven't done laundry, then I'll just wear whatever old shirts I've been wearing to work. And so I look terrible when I'm at the gym. But I don't think it really matters that much.
No.
I think for me, wearing whatever shirt I have and whatever athletic-ish pants I have with my weird minimalist shoes is probably still better than the guy who's wearing the super thin low ride tank top. And so
the ones that are like spaghetti straps, practically so thin.
Yeah. Like, just me personally, I'm there to work out. I'm not there to show off. And so my gym wear is very modest.
Yeah.
Like, I just wear a regular ass t-shirt and some regular ass pants.
Yeah.
So.
Me too. It's interesting to see other people, and I think you can wear whatever. Like,
yeah, like you do you, but
that doesn't bother me. But it is a big segment of the clothing economy is athleisure, right? Which most people don't ever step foot in the gym while they're wearing, because they're too large to fit through the door. But that's a different story. The other fashion piece, underwear. What type of underwear do you wear?
I don't know. I bought it at Target. It's like boxer briefs. And I have a bunch of the same one. It's like the 3-pack that you buy for like $10 to $15.
So this is how I've always known Steve was straight. He puts no thought into his underwear. There is no better barometer. There is no better barometer for gayness than underwear.
Okay, my underwear is wholly uninteresting. Tell me about yours.
I will say, so underwear I think does say a lot about someone. Anyone. Steve's underwear, boxer briefs, I'll say boxer briefs, they're different than just boxers, which are extraordinarily uncomfortable. I've worn boxers. I hate boxers. They're awful. It's like wearing shorts under pants. It doesn't make any sense. It's so uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's a terrible idea.
So uncomfortable.
It's a very middle school, high school idea.
Very. You still see people, adults wearing them in the locker room. Like, that's
weird.
So awful. But so those are bad. So boxer briefs are like the next level in conservatism from the boxer, from just the boxer. It goes boxer brief, and then it goes like the shorter boxer brief, and then it goes a trunk underwear, which is like a very short boxer brief, and then a brief, and then I know all about underwear, Steve.
Wait, what? Okay, so where am I at?
You're one step below the boxer.
Really?
Yes.
I mean, like how long?
Those are actually maybe 2 steps below. Maybe 2. Maybe 2. Maybe two below. Yeah, you're right, because the long ones like go down almost to your knees. It's ridiculous.
No. Mine probably go 1/3 of the way down my leg.
So you're 2 steps below the most conservative. And then you have so that says something about you. It says you're confident in your masculinity, but you're not a slob. And you do care somewhat about how you look and feel.
Thank you, I guess.
Well, that fits you, right? It fits. Yeah, see?
Yeah.
It is. It's true. I think it's true.
And then what's after the briefs?
The briefs.
Is there something?
Yes. I'll get in there in a second. But there's 2 types of briefs. Well, there's actually 3 types of briefs. I know too much about this. The next one down is briefs, but whitey-tighty briefs, which are also like high-rise briefs, like underwear that comes up to your belly button. That's old man. That's like if you're really old and don't know anything about anything. That's what you would wear. So that's not even in the spectrum. That's like a different planet over there. And then you have low-rise briefs, which are hip briefs, as they're called, which come down even lower than normal briefs. So, right like at the bikini line, if for a woman, right at the bikini line, those are generally what I wear. Or like the shortest version of trunks, of briefs, which are called trunks. So I'm like down here. Next are jock straps, which serve certain purposes when you're having sex. So I'm not going to go into that now. And then there's like a variation of multitudes of things with that. Essentially, the further down you go, the more it looks like women's underwear. I had a girl buy me something on that end of the spectrum once.
Really?
Yes.
And do you wear it?
Which she asked me to, and I did, because it's like, I don't care. Sure. If it turns you on, I'll do that.
Is it more comfortable? Like
I never had pants on with it, so I can't really attest to that aspect of it.
Okay. Okay, but let's just say compared to what I wear, is what you wear more comfortable, or do you do just?
I think it's more comfortable. I hate the stuff on my legs. I'm a very functional person. Why do I have cloth that goes down my legs? I don't understand. It serves no purpose. It is useless, and it bunches up. If it's lower quality, it bunches up. It's like I hate it. I hate it. So I really like a nice lower cut pair of briefs. That says when someone sees me, and then you have brands. brands are very important. So Calvin Klein, someone sees me in Calvin Klein briefs, they know I'm not totally straight.
How much are those? They're like $20
They're like
for
20
one pair
bucks,
or
yeah.
something.
They
That's
last a long.
so
They last a long
expensive.
time. They last years.
How many pairs do you have?
Well, I have a variety. I probably like 6 or 7 of those, and then maybe 10 of the trunks, which are like the very short boxer briefs.
Man, that sounds expensive.
It's expensive,
Yeah.
but if you are into guys, it's important. It's like a male. It's the male version of lingerie. Women obsess about their bras. Well, they can. They don't have to, but they can about their bras and underwear.
That's true.
It's the same thing. Top trends in women's fashion in the last couple of years.
So I'm going to start with the worst trend. One of the worst. And you know what I'm going to say.
I do.
It is when a girl has pants that go way up past their waist and up to cover their belly button. And what makes it even worse is when they wear a crop top with that. So I'm going to break down why this is terrible, right? So starting with the crop top, right? When you see a girl with a crop top and an exposed belly button, you get a full sense of the expectation with that girl, right? What her body is like, right? When you pull those pants up above the belly button and they're tight, you can use it to suck the fat in, and then you can't tell, you don't have a good sense of how attractive and how fit that girl actually is, right? So it is cheating. It is an unfair cheating tactic that's meant to try to trick men into thinking a woman is more attractive than they actually are.
I also don't. You say it's supposed to accentuate the curve, so that's what people say.
Yeah, what I've heard is women say that it accentuates curves.
Even even on an attractive woman,
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Just the style of it, I don't find attractive.
No, I don't find it attractive at all, and I don't know why it's caught on so much. It's so strange to me. I think it's just like a cheap tactic for making yourself look more attractive than you are, and looking like you're exposing skin while not taking on any of the risk.
It could be part of the feminist. So pants of all genders used to go a lot higher and actually sit at your natural waist, which is where if you bend, it's like above your hip bone, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's your natural waist.
Mm-hmm.
That's where pants normally would sit historically because they don't fall down from there, right? Like it's like they lock in at that point because your body gets bigger slightly and then narrower again.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of trends, well, some trends in women's fashion, isn't it going more towards it's about comfort? It's not about showing off to men. It's about comfort. And I would imagine I've never worn pants at my natural waist because I don't even know where you would buy pants that go to your natural waist. But I would imagine it could be more. It may feel odd to start with, but it could be more comfortable.
I mean, it's very possible. It's very possible that it is more comfortable. I don't. What I've heard, obviously, it's just what I've heard, is that there are legitimate reasons to push it for attractiveness, and I just don't see that at all.
I don't see
so, like, but from a comfort perspective, sure, that's totally viable. I mean, like, I wear these like stretchy jeggings for men because they're comfortable and not because they're stylish. So I'm not gonna discount the value of comfort. I'm just The other one is that like the top that gets overly poofy in the middle. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Those tops, fucking hate them. Like, what's the point? It just looks awkward, and it's usually very incongruent with whatever she's wearing below that.
Yeah. Never got those.
Never got it.
It looks like you have a marshmallow stuck in the middle of you.
I know. Yes, exactly. So those are some of my negatives. Before we go into positives, can you think of any other terrible women's fashion choices?
Dreadlocks make every woman appear ugly. in my honest opinion.
Really?
That's not really fashion. I think it's so. I hate dreadlocks.
I disagree with that.
People with dreadlocks I imagine them being very dirty. It's just an association.
I don't see it that way. I see them as being kind of like open and free. Obviously, it's the whole like hippie vibe and everything. And then you wonder what that translates to in the bedroom, and then there's a little bit of mystery there.
It translates to me to people who don't shave. And
Oh, you're right. You're right. That's not good.
I can't.
I dated a girl once who didn't shave, and that was rough. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty obvious why. Like, it's just not a fan of that. Okay, can I just say one thing about that whole thing, which is I find really frustrating? The girl that I was dating, this was a while ago, right? I think she had a weird female empowerment thing where she figured, look, I shouldn't have to shave. I shouldn't have to like set myself to these unreasonable standards by men, right? That's sure. Like if you think that, that's fine. But do you think that men also don't take care of themselves to look good for women? Okay, maybe a lot of men don't do these things, but like I shave my chest. I trim my pubes. Like I do shit to make sure I don't look like a fucking mess. You know, I shave my beard. Like I work out. You know, yeah, I get it. There are standards and they suck and it's annoying, but it's not all as simplistic as saying like I don't have to deal with the standards for men. They should just accept me as who I am. But I want you to do these things. It's like no, that's not how it works.
I agree. Men do. I mean, you don't have to shave every single day, but there is work that goes into it.
And there are some men who don't do that work, and they're sloppy, and girls don't hook up with them. Yeah. So, you know.
Yeah, exactly. There's a reason every male model doesn't have a lot of body hair.
Yeah.
They're not genetically born that way. They shave.
Exactly. Anyway, back to fashion.
Body hair is different.
So dreadlocks is a no. Any other no's?
That's not really fashion though.
Yeah, that's not really fashion.
I think of a lot of, makeup. That's not really fashion though. Girls with a lot of makeup. I don't like that. A lot of makeup. You're hiding something. If you aren't gorgeous without makeup, why would I want to hook up with someone or date someone or marry anyone if I were to get married? Is someone who only looked good with makeup on. Also, a lot of girls can't do it very well. It looks really bad. I'm not going to say I could do it better because I have no idea how to do it, but, like, seriously, that looks really bad.
Yeah.
Did you look at a mirror before you left? So makeup, clothes. You hit the two big ones.
For clothes?
Me. Yeah, that I'm not so hot on.
The more controversial one, because I gotta go back and forth in this one, high heels. So, first off, the most obvious thing is when a girl is definitely shorter than me, without high heels, and then wears high heels and suddenly is taller than me, that's a no-go, right? So, so there's that. But in general, I realize that high heels are supposed to make women more attractive, and I get why that's within the cultural context. And there are times when I see a woman in high heels, and I think that she looks attractive, and part of it's because of the high heels. But I also see women walking down the street stumbling in their high heels, and it just looks utterly ridiculous and unattractive. And in the net, I feel like high heels don't really do enough to boost attractiveness to be worth it, and I'd rather a girl just be comfortable and like I'd much rather be able to dance with you than see you standing there in what is seen as a biologically vulnerable position that's supposed to trigger a switch in my brain for some reason. Like it doesn't, like it's not worth it.
Yeah, I would agree. I like high heels, but if you are not trained when walking in high heels, the stumbling far outweighs any attractiveness to be gained. Because you just look like an awkward penguin. It's like it takes away the whole aura. It's
Yep.
like it takes the whole aura just disappears. Like you're just some dumbass human walking in stilts attached to your heels. What are you doing?
Yep. Yep.
One last thing. Okay, I really don't like men's underwear. I talked about that. Women's underwear are much more important. Women who just really bad underwear. I'm like, come on.
Like what?
Like, I hate the little grandma panties. I don't even know what they're fucking.
Ugh.
I don't know the names
Ugh,
of any
gross,
of these.
yeah,
But
no.
they're like they sell those still. Like they're like cute little pictures on them. I don't want little cute pictures on your underwear. God, please don't. I don't want pictures on your underwear.
No.
No pictures. I kind of like you were coming to you knew we were going to probably hook up, and you picked to wear that. What?
What do you think of underwear that doesn't match? So the bra and the panties. Should match.
It should match.
It should match?
Yeah,
Yeah. I think so too, right?
I think it should match.
Like they should match.
It looks much better.
Yeah.
I mean, not on. When you get to that stage, they're not on a lot longer, but they're off pretty within several minutes.
At least when they match.
At least when they match. But it's a nice several minutes.
Yeah, ladies, it helps to get them off faster if they match.
match.
So, yep.
Sometimes, and actually the odd thing is, sometimes I find women, and this is me, I find them more attractive in lingerie than without. Depending on the body. Like, you're more attractive with wearing that than not. I don't know. Which seems kind of counterintuitive. Maybe it's just me.
No, there's just more for your imagination to work with.
There's a lot more for your imagination. It's like, oh, I've seen that a million times in porn.
Yep. Yep.
It looks probably worse. Good trends. We have to go on the good trends. Good trends, Steve.
Yeah, yoga pants
Yes.
is the first and obvious choice. Yoga wear in general.
Under 40. Hard cut off.
Oh, of course.
Hard cut off.
But
If you can see a cellulite under yoga pants.
part of why I brought up that first one with the pants that come up way too high. I'm a big fan of kind of exposed midriff. I think that's a great look. If the girl can pull it off, and yoga clothes does that without any shame, right? You get the really tight yoga pants, and you get the top that's like obviously showing some midriff. It's great. I sound like a creep, but Scott's nodding. It's fine. The other thing is like, if there are any guys out there who are kind of up in arms, kind of thinking like, how dare you talk about women's fashion in the sense of how it is for men instead of thinking about why women would choose this clothes for themselves. Let me break this myth for you that when a woman chooses to wear a really tight, really small top and really, really tight, over-accentuating yoga pants, it's not because it's comfortable. It's to look good and feel good by looking good, knowing other people know you look good. And if you are a guy who's realistic enough to introspectively think about how you feel when, for instance, you go to a gym and you can pull off a really hard move and you know there are people around you, you know that there's a sense of satisfaction in having people admire you for what you can do physically or what you look like physically, right? It's the same thing. That's not like a negative thing at all, but it's definitely the case. Like, they wouldn't sell this clothes that looks so sexualized if it had zero reaction on the men and some women around the person wearing it. Like, it's just like she knows what she looks like and how you feel by looking at her. Like, she knows.
Oh yeah.
Like, let's dispel that myth right now. Like, she definitely knows.
Oh yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. It is. And that's very good. It's good to point out, Steve. The problem with having a podcast that's based in America is most Americans can't relate to any of this because they're a little rotund. We are really cutting out our potential audiences here, I think.
Like we haven't done that
Like
already
we
with
haven't
every
done that
other
already.
episode.
I think I made several fat jokes previously, but not jokes though. They're serious
It's a
state-
serious medical condition, and people need to get on that shit.
But I have been at the gym, and I see this. Steve said this, and I understand it because I've been at the gym, and people look at me, and I'm like, I know you're looking at me because I look attractive, and that makes me feel good. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that, and women can do that too, and they get a lot more rushes probably.
Yeah, because they get a lot more attention than even Scott.
They get a lot more attention than I do, amazingly. So it's good to point out. Raises an interesting question though, because very few people look like the models that model and sell these kind of clothes.
Well, within the target audience though?
Even within the target audience. I mean, if Lululemon only sold to attractive people and fit people, they would have been out of business a long time ago. People are that is really interesting because people are very aspirational. I'm not saying it's good or bad, but very aspirational. Like, I could wear that, I look good in it, or I don't know what the thought process is on women's side, I guess, mostly. Like, I could wear those yoga pants that I don't know women's sizing, size 0, which is not, I don't know if that's actually a thing, is modeling, and I'm a size 200, and I'll look good. I'm not trying to insult, and I'm just like, if you are a lot larger of a person, why do you buy these clothes that are so obviously sexual and so obviously, because of all the advertisements and the design of the very fabric, is meant for very fit people?
Well, I think it's just what you said, right? It's because of the aspirational aspect of it. Because these different brands, was it Lululemon, and others, I don't fucking know the names of the brands, can build a narrative saying, if you're the kind of person who purchases our products, you're the kind of person who lives a healthy life, who is attractive, and who is successful in attracting other people, right? And people will look at you and they will be impressed. And by selling this narrative, people believe that part of getting to that aspirational self includes consuming these products. And so they consume them, right? And oftentimes they don't follow through, at least not consistently, with the things that actually matter in getting to that ideal persona, which is diet, exercise.
But that could be part of the high waist pants. I'm just using this one little thing as a heuristic, that the mass market the clothing from Lululemon and God knows what other companies, I don't know all of them, are being marketed at a body type that is not most of American women, even young American women. We are going to design something instead for their bodies that's comfortable for them. Maybe we can. I don't know where they all try. I'm just thinking out loud here. And then we market it to them as like, this is also cool. This is also attractive. You don't have to wear yoga pants. You can wear something that's more flattering, perhaps, if we sell it to you as that, to your body type. I see a lot of more overweight people wearing the high-rise pants than I see really fit people.
Yeah, because they don't need them.
Right. But they don't need that. So I'm like, this gets all, I'm not sure what exactly point I'm making, but we're talking about fashion. Men are attracted to fashion of a very small subset of American culture. Attracted to the fashion that can only be worn by 5% of the American population, maybe less.
Do you think, because I think this has been, over the last few years, a really big talking point, Do you think there is a problem with unrealistic expectations around body image?
That is really complex for me because America is so unhealthy.
Agreed.
The body positive, the fat positive stuff. Well, yes, if you are depressed because you don't like how you look, that's not good. Like that, in many ways, that is not. Well, in all ways, it's that being depressed how you look will never, ever, in any way make you look healthier. It will just make you be worse. So that's bad, right? It's
And
not going to
feeling shame and ridicule, especially if it's just people directing it at you, whether it's in the media or in person, will just further that depression, further your lack of mobility and lack of ability to turn that ship around.
Shame does not lead to motivation, and depression does not lead to motivation. Those do not lead to someone who's going to go to the gym and lose weight. They compound that. So that's bad. But on the other hand, it's a whole thing is a symptom of a culture that is so overweight. So that's where I struggle, because it's like, but we're treating a symptom with the whole positive body positive thing. We wouldn't even need it if we had better food system. Like, we have it because we eat shit. We don't have body positive in Denmark.
The first thing to note, I think, is that when people say that there are unrealistic expectations for body image, whether it's pictures in Sports Illustrated of women in bikinis or pictures of men's health with these massive ripped six packs, I look at that, and personally, like when I look at that guy on Men's Health or whatever, which is not something I do regularly.
Steve has a copy of those stacked up underneath his bed. I've seen them.
It's only one stack though.
Only one stack. Next to the strap-ons of various sizes.
Yeah, I'm saving up for a horse size soon.
Yeah.
So when you see when I see that, okay, so starting with me, when I see that as aspirational, right? A lot of that is my own upbringing, my own perspective looking into it, my own current level of health and my own behavior, my ability to have the time to go to the gym. Sure, I understand that. But when I see someone who's really, really fit, I see that as an aspirational goal. And I also think that in a lot of ways, when you see people who are in good health, who are naturally attractive because of their good health, something about our bodies and our biology is telling us that is a good state to be in, right? We call these unrealistic expectations, but then we have to ask the question, why is this unrealistic? And this is, again, just going back to Scott's point, the reason that these expectations are unrealistic is primarily due to the fact that we have a food and agriculture system as well as a system of poverty and inequality
and transportation
that promotes poor health, primarily in the form of obesity and malnutrition, right? And so there are structural issues which are causing these aspirations to be unattainable. But it's not that these quote unquote unrealistic expectations are unhealthy or something that is literally unachievable. They are achievable goals if you can get past a lot of the structural issues, if you're privileged enough, if you're lucky enough, if you're motivated enough to have a healthy diet, to exercise. And I don't think that it's fair to say that we should try to vilify anyone who's trying to promote that as an aspirational goal, right? The other thing on the fat positive stuff, and this is just like really, really obvious, so I'm not going to linger on it, but I will just say, like, being overweight is unhealthy. It's like not good for you. It's really not good for you. And the solution isn't to take everyone's norms and push them to a place where an unhealthy lifestyle is seen as acceptable and okay and attractive, which is, I think a lot of this fat positive movement is trying to do that. That's not the solution, because then you're still fat, you're still overweight, and you still have the same problems. And those aren't going to go away by changing people's perspectives. Even if you could, which I really don't think you could, because there are biological reasons why we don't find that attractive. Because it's unhealthy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the only actual solution is to exercise right, to eat healthy, and to stop wearing tighty whities. Like those, the only actual solutions there. Trying to tie it back to fashion.
I'm actually curious what your answer is. Describe your perfectly dressed woman.
Depends on the context. Where are we?
Okay, it's day out. It's not night. It's not at a nightclub. It's day. You meet in line for. Do you have food trucks in DC?
Yeah.
She's standing in front of you at a food truck, and you strike up a conversation.
Ah, okay. Yes, I like this. I like this a lot. This is good. I would say flat shoes, very tight jeans that accentuate the body, and a blouse that's not overly revealing. That's some kind of like silk or some kind of material like that. No actual like belly button exposure or anything like that, but something that kind of drapes down in a way that you can see the shape of her body. So nothing overly revealing except for the fact that you can clearly see actually what the shape of her body is, because what that says to me is classy, not ostentatious, but yet clearly confident and like knows she's attractive.
Color?
Doesn't really matter. It's all about what I can infer about the shape of her body by what she wears without her overly flaunting it. That's the ideal. Now, again, if we were at a nightclub, that would be very different. But
It would be
in
different.
the day, in a food truck line, that would be what I would go for. What about you?
Actually, pretty similar. So,
Yeah.
girls, take note. Jeans, light jeans. I'm more specific than Steve. Light wash jeans, very tight.
Light wash, really? Okay.
I like light wash. Lighter wash. Lighter colored brown shoes with the lift, so like a wedge, not heel, but a slight a wedge, right? I like that. It's a work day, classed up a little bit. White blouse, as you described it, but white.
Okay.
The white, the light blue, and the light brown, blonde hair, long, and blue eyes. Is that a country song?
That is a country song. Epitomized. Yes, it is. Oh boy.
Ah, my sweet Aryan girl. That's the name of the song.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
That's bad. Well, okay, note to women.
Yes, this is the part where we give fashion advice to women. I like this.
Both Steve and I think, actually, it was quite a similar answer. You don't need to do a whole lot to stand out to men.
No.
In terms of technical stuff. You don't need to wear heels. You don't need to wear fancy pants, fancy shirt, nothing like that. Good, nice pair of shoes, not heels, but I think wedges are okay, or flatter. Jeans, tight jeans, and...
Oh, the thing, men go crazy over tight jeans.
Oh, yeah.
Tight jeans. Tight jeans are the way to go.
Tight jeans.
More than a dress, tight jeans are the way to go.
And a tighter blouse, no belly button showing. You know, you want to be modest-ish, but you can definitely see that you're in good shape. Just tight enough where you can make out the outline of your bra.
Yes.
Just tight enough.
That is a good point. Yeah. So in other words, dress in a pretty standard way, but be really attractive. Just be an attractive person.
Yeah.
Just be very fit.
And wear tight clothes.
and wear tight clothes. You're good. Yeah. Same advice I'd give to guys too. So.
Well, I'm not sure if anyone learned anything, but moral of the story: be attractive and wear tight clothes. What stupid advice! That's stupid advice.
Would you say it's an unqualified opinion?
I think that's actually fairly qualified based on our own personal sexual preferences.
That is true. That is true. And we can probably assume that everybody else's are basically the same as ours.
Basically the same.
Yeah. Great.
I think that's a wrap.
I think that's a wrap. All right.
All right.
Talk to you next weekish.
Talk to you next week-ish.
Sounds good. Bye.
Bye.